As the major television networks switched off their nightly news bulletins, the AFL called a last-minute press conference.
Thanks everyone for coming.
After an 8-month investigation in which no one was formally interviewed, the AFL has pulled the pin on its probe.
The complainants wish to resolve all differences with the AFL.
It says no findings have been made against former Hawthorn coach Alastair Clarkson, then assistant and football boss Chris Fagan, and ex-welfare manager Jason Burt.
The AFL has now terminated the independent panel investigation with no charges to be brought against any person.
Shocking allegations of mistreatment of First Nations players and their families at Hawthorn forced the AFL to act. But its investigation was marred by questions of independence and stalled when neither some families nor the coaches took part. Fagan labelled the probe a farce. In a statement, he reiterated, "I'm innocent of any of the allegations made against me and always have been." Clarkson and Burt have also denied wrongdoing, although Burt recently confirmed aspects of one family's story. Hawthorn has welcomed the probe's conclusion.
This has been an extremely difficult process for everyone involved.
What we're seeing here is the way AFL is investigating the AFL, and then the AFL is turning around and saying, well, actually, we're going to drop the investigation altogether.
While the AFL investigation has ended, the Hawthorn Football Club remains very much under scrutiny. It's possible the club could be charged with bringing the game into disrepute as part of a separate AFL investigation. And the First Nations families who did not participate in the AFL probe have indicated they're still weighing up civil litigation against the club.
We'd be extremely disappointed if this matter led to sanctions, including financial.
One family has told the ABC they expected this result from the beginning, and it doesn't change anything. The families involved in the AFL probe are preparing to take their complaints to the Human Rights Commission, and a WorkSafe investigation continues. Tom Maddox, ABC News, Melbourne.
It's a resolution without resolution. The AFL's agreement involves just 6 of 11 complainants. The others refuse to be part of the investigation, never confident in its independence, given the panel was established and chosen by the AFL. It's not the end of a process, it's the collapse of a process, and raises yet more questions about how the AFL can create a safe space for all parties when it comes to racism allegations. For his part, the author of the Hawthorn report, Phil Egan, says the whole industry should learn from this and contrasts this episode with the handling of the racism review into Collingwood.
The negotiations and the discussions and the structural changes and the compensation to the players was done in a very, very professional and quick manner. So, that's one way, it could have went, but sadly it hasn't gone that way.
This inquiry has been terminated in Reconciliation Week and just days after the AFL joined other sporting codes supporting the voice to Parliament.
It compromises it, I think, because on one hand you're saying you want to support these things, but on the other hand you've got this issue that's trickled along since mid last year or towards the end of last year, and they haven't been able to resolve it. So I think they've got lots of work to do.
The AFL and Hawthorn have repeatedly blamed so-called media leaks of the review without parties being given an opportunity to respond. The ABC strongly backs its reports breaking this story. There were no leaks. No interviewees were bound by confidentiality, and all parties were asked to respond more than once before publication. And no matter what the AFL wants, it's a story that won't end here.